Hello, I am Kelly, and this is Kelly's Wordy Reactions. All right, so I am back to give today's recap of the Sean Diddy Combs trial for day 3, May 14th, 2025. All right, let's get into it. So, I'm going to be reading from the Associated Press. Now, Cassie's testimony in the Diddy trial exposes the underbelly of their relationship. Hey, Texas Toy. Hey, girl. Hey. Thanks for coming in. I'm just about to get into the recap for today. All right, so what we know about the trial so far is, first of all, the charges. Combs has pleaded not guilty to 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in um, prostitution, if you know what I mean. All right, so the star witness, Cassie, testified Tuesday that the mercurial music mogul, powerful, abusive, and controlling, beat her mercilessly and ordered her to have disgusting sex with strangers during drug-fueled, multi-day marathons he called freak-offs. She recounted a turbulent 10-year relationship with Combs that she said was consumed by violent, I'm going to call that violin, and his obsession with a form of voyeurism. The jury, 12 jurors, 8 men and 4 women, and 6 alternates, were chosen just before opening statements began Monday. They include a massage therapist, an investment analyst, and a deli clerk. The jurors' identities are known to the court and the prosecution and defense sides, but won't be made public. All right, so I'm gonna be reporting what the Associated Press reported. Some of these are just like little write-ups that they did throughout the day, but mostly it is actual um, retelling of like the testimony. So let's go ahead and get into that. So at 6:47 a.m., Cassie is due back for a second day of testimony. At 6:51 a.m., what to know about Cassie? Um, I think we already know about Cassie. Let's see. Okay, this is short. We'll go ahead and state this. Okay, a singer, actor, dancer, and model, Cassie's professional ambitions began in adolescence when she signed to the top-tier talent and modeling agency Wilhelmina. Her music career launched shortly thereafter when she left her home state of Connecticut for New York, where she signed with manager Tony Mottola and first met Combs. Cassie met Combs in 2005 when she was 19 and he was 37. He signed her to his Bad Boy Records label, and within a few years, they started dating. All right, that's what we know about Cassie, or at least that's what they have. Okay, so a closer look at the jurors. I think we know what we need to know about the jurors. All right, and then at 7:25 a.m., Cassie testifies about violin and ABUSE. Okay, and with that, Cassie told jurors she was actually inexperienced when she met Combs, and that he introduced her to various ex acts before asking her to engage in her first freak off when she was barely 22. Cassie said she was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much and wanted to make him happy. Cassie, now 38, said her relationship with Combs ran the gamut, from good times to arguments and physical altercations. She said the ABUSE happened too frequently and sometimes came after the smallest perceived slights. Cassie and Combs ordered Cassie said Combs ordered her to recruit male ex workers for freak-offs, and he would pay them thousands of dollars to have sex with her. The encounters, fueled by ecstasy and other substances, would go on for 36 or 48 hours, and she said the longest lasted 4 days. They took place in private, often in dark hotel rooms, unlike Combs' very public white parties in the Hamptons that attracted A-list celebrities. So they're saying this stuff wasn't like the big parties with everybody. This was the dark back room, way off to the side hotel rooms that, she would have to recruit these workers to come to. And he would always be there sitting over in the corner watching everything. Okay, so then at 7:35 a.m., what to expect from Cassie's testimony on Wednesday. Wait a minute. Hold. No, this is... Okay, I don't know why they said Wednesday. So, let's see. All right, so I feel like they're giving me too much recap. Okay, 7:53 a.m., the Combs connection. Let's see what that's about. In her 2023 civil lawsuit, Cassie alleges Combs trapped her in a cycle of ABUSE, violin, and X trafficking for more than a decade, including R-wording her and forcing her to engage in X acts with male ex workers. Combs settled the lawsuit the next day. In May 2024, CNN aired video that showed Combs attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway in 2016. The video closely mirrored an assault described in her lawsuit, which said Combs had already punched her that night, and she was trying to leave the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, where he woke and came after her. In the footage, a man who appears to be Diddy, wearing only a towel, punches Cassie, kicks her, and throws her to the floor. The lawsuit alleges Combs paid $50,000 to bury the video at the time. Among other things, Cassie alleges Combs R-worded her, and when she tried to leave him, R-worded her when she tried to leave him, and often punched, kicked, and beat her, causing injuries including bruises, burst lips, black eyes, and bleeding. Woo, okay, that was at 7:53 a.m. At 8:03 a.m., Cassie felt she couldn't refuse Combs' demands. Cassie said her first freak-off occurred in Combs' Los Angeles home with a male stripper from Las Vegas. She told jurors she felt dirty and confused afterward, but also relieved that Combs was happy. Still, she said she felt obligated to go with future freak-offs. I just didn't want to make him upset, she said. I just didn't want to make him angry and regret telling me about this experience that was so personal. Cassie began crying when asked if she liked any aspect of freak-offs. She said she enjoyed time spent with him. She said she used substances at every freak off to numb herself during emotionless X with a stranger that I didn't really want to have X with. The Associated Press doesn't generally identify people who say they are victims of actual abuse unless they come forward publicly, as Cassie has done. One of the worst things about this, and this may sound bad, but these workers are getting paid, and it's like she's a free worker, and I mean, I'm sure I don't know, money is coming in from somewhere, but it's like every time they're engaging in this, they're getting up to like what did the guy say, $7,000, and she's really doing the same thing they're doing, but she's just doing everything for free, or her living that she's already living. However, she's living. She's under contract um, with this company, and she's supposed to be doing something, but really she's not doing anything except for um, I don't know. It just sounds like to me she's literally in this type of slavery, and it's all this money swirling around. People are getting paid left and right, and it doesn't really seem like matter of fact, I haven't really heard them talk much about how she's getting her money, um, except for that he's paying for some of the places where she lived. But yeah, I'm just like, where is her money? Okay. Let me get out that and get on. All right, at 8:13 a.m., Combs' family has arrived at court. So they arrived at 8:13. At 8:18, a prosecutor's change in tone. Prosecutor Emily Johnson, who delivered an opening statement Monday, has softened her tone considerably in questioning the government's star witness, Cassie, about the 10 years she spent with Combs. While she repeatedly referred to Combs as the defendant in her opening, Johnson often calls him Sean as she delicately questions Cassie, who's in the third trimester of pregnancy with her third child. At 8:19, freak-offs became a job. Okay. During her testimony Tuesday, Cassie said eventually she was doing freak-offs weekly. Oh my gosh. Like, really? She's supposed to be recording albums. I don't, for whatever reason, I can't get past that. Like, what are we really doing? I'm supposed to be recording. And she said was actually recording. She said she recorded over 100 songs. So she was actually still like doing something, but it was going nowhere. This is something else. Okay. Let me carry on. They went on for a decade, with the final one in 2017 or 2018, she said. Each time, she said, she had to recuperate from lack of sleep, alcohol, substances, and having sex with a stranger for days. Woo! She describes the situation as freak-offs became a job where there was no space to do anything else but to recover and just try to feel normal again. During her opening statement, prosecutor Emily Johnson told the jury that Cassie was not the only woman Combs beat and actually exploited. Combs was among the most influential hip-hop producers and executives of the past 3 decades, working with artists including Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, and Usher. He also created the fashion clothing line Sean John and produced the reality show Making the Band. Okay. 9:06, Cassie has returned to the witness stand. Okay, so she resumed her testimony at 9:06. Okay, nothing really new there. 9:19, Cassie testifies. Combs threw a vase of flowers at her during the 2016 hotel attack. She says, I just remember it was coming toward me. I remember it hitting a wall, she said. Earlier in the trial, a hotel security guard said he saw the damage when he arrived upstairs and told Combs he would have to pay for it. Cassie said she left the hotel in an Uber and went to her apartment, which was nearby. At 9:28 a.m., jurors shown photos of Cassie's swollen lip as she testified about the hotel attack from Combs. And she said she took the selfies on her Uber ride away from the Los Angeles hotel. She said she wore sunglasses because she had a black eye. Once home, she said a friend of hers saw her injuries and was super upset because she'd seen me with black eyes and busted lips before. Cassie said her friend called police, but she declined to reveal who had injured her once police arrived, so they left. In that moment, I did not want to hurt him that way. She testified, I wasn't ready. Okay. And then at 9:39 a.m., Combs kept texting Cassie after she left the LA hotel following attack. She testifies. She said he claimed police were about to arrest him, and when she refused to accept his phone calls, Combs told her that if she didn't pick up the phone, she'd never hear my voice again, Cassie said. I bet she wished. Okay, and then Cassie testified Combs threatened several times to release recordings of freak-offs. And she said it could ruin everything she'd worked for and, in quotes, make me look like a slut. She said she always worried he'd get mad enough to release them. And in quotes, I feared for my career, I feared for my family. It's just embarrassing. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should do that to anyone, she said. That was at 10:04. At 10:08, Combs in the courtroom. Combs is in a cream-colored knit sweater over a button-down white shirt with gray pants. He occasionally dons thick black rim glasses when exhibits are shown. Oh, wow. So he puts on his glasses when they show the exhibits? That's crazy. Oh, maybe they're real glasses so he can see. I don't know. All right, so he stood and hunched over a laptop with two of his lawyers as his other lawyers conferred with prosecutors and the judge at the bench about logistics for the playing of freak-off videos. Okay. At 10:10, prosecutors asked Cassie if she ever tried to fight back when Combs picked a fight with her. She said she did try earlier in their relationship, but she learned that it could escalate the fight more, make it worse for myself, in quotes. And then at 10:17, Cassie is calm and poised in her second day of testimony. Says after looking through a binder of photos provided by prosecutors, Cassie identified 13 male ex workers. She said she recruited at Combs's behest for freak offs in Las Vegas, Miami, and Los Angeles. She said she had ex with all of them, though she couldn't remember all of their names. Some she knew only by their first names. Some were flown in for the occasions. On Tuesday, Cassie had identified a half dozen other escorts. One of them, she said, was advertised as the Punisher. And one of them is that man, Adi. What is his name? Udi, Adi. I did hear one of the content creators. Um, I think his name is Jonathan Adi. And I want to say I even remember her name in a Jonathan from the list. I don't know if we're going to get it here in this recap, but the Adi guy is the one that he did another crime in a Trump hotel or something like that. He kind of went off, and when they were interrogating him about that situation, he started telling the detectives that he had been a ex uh, worker. We'll just say worker. He said something else, but he started telling the uh, the officer that was asking him questions that he had been an ex-worker for Cassie and Diddy. And another thing that's odd is that he's been being held for a long time. I'm pretty sure he's not even in prison. I feel like he's like in the jail system just being held for a long time, with um, no court dates coming up, nothing like that. So it seems like maybe he has been in some sort of program, being held up so that he can be a witness for this situation. I don't know. I don't know how that would work if he is sane enough to because he kind of seems all over the place, even though he was giving them a good idea of what had been happening. He was also saying some other stuff that didn't quite make sense, but I don't know, maybe it did, maybe it was just the way he was presenting the information. But anyway, apparently they did show pictures of him today, and Cassie did say that he was one of their escorts. Um, at 10:51 a.m., opioids make me feel numb, which is why I relied on them so heavily, Cassie said. At 11:06 a.m., Cassie, Combs would sometimes convince her to go to X clubs or swinger clubs in Las Vegas or LA. So at least once, she said, one of the escorts who participated in freak-offs came along with his girlfriend. She said she had X with the escort at the X club. Wow. At times, Cassie testified she told Combs it made her uncomfortable to go to X clubs. I'm not into seeing the person, this is in quotes, she said, I'm not into seeing the person you're in love with somebody else, she said. Cassie said he responded by continuing to push for it, saying it would, quote, be a fun thing to do, and we wouldn't go for long. Okay. Yes, I am aware that you can't see me. I'm sorry. It's late, and I am just here to give the recap if you're still here. But yes, I am aware of that. Okay, let's see. 11:06. 11:12. After a scuffle, Combs said, "You don't know when to stop," Cassie testified. So on one occasion in 2013, while she was packing to go to Drake's music festival in Canada, Cassie said Combs scuffled with her friends and threw her into the bed frame. She said she suffered a pretty significant gash above her left eye. And then Combs security personnel brought her to a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills to get the wound stitched up. Afterward, she texted Combs a photo of her injured face and wrote, "So you can remember," in quotes. Combs replied, "You don't know when to stop. You pushed it too far," and continued to push. Sad. So he just blamed her whole gashed eye on her. Wow. Okay. So that was 11:12. 11:33. Cassie's testimony exposes the underbelly of their years-long relationship. Let's see what that says. Attending the Cannes Film Festival in 2013, Cassie beamed as she posed for photographers, but after getting into a fight with Combs away from the glitz and glamour, she said she didn't have a place to stay. Cassie testified Combs accused her of taking substances from him and kicked her off the yacht where they were staying. Cassie said she left the boat without shoes. Wow. Her passport and other belongings were also left behind, she said. And that's in France, right? My gosh. Cassie said she ended up crashing at a hotel where Combs' employees were staying. On the way back to the U.S., she said Combs threatened to release videos of her having X during freak-offs. Cassie told jurors she felt trapped by the hip-hop mogul. In 2016, 2 days after Combs beat and kicked Cassie at a Los Angeles hotel, they were photographed attending the premiere of the film The Perfect Match. Cassie said she used makeup to cover her bruises and sneaked into a popcorn closet at the movie theater to switch dresses for an after party so bruises on her legs wouldn't be visible. That was at 11:33, 11:34. The court is taking a lunch break. I'm going to break for water. Just 1 second. And back. Okay. So let me see, 11:41. Before the break, there was additional testimony about threats to release freak-off recordings. Okay, read that. A slight delay in the afternoon session. Okay, 12:41. During the break, lawyers for accusers who plan to testify emphasized how nervous their clients are. Really? Let's read that for sure. During the break, lawyers for accusers who plan to testify emphasized how nervous their clients are. The lawyers spoke to the judge to ensure they'd continue to be able to communicate with their clients during breaks in the trial, in part to calm their nerves. My goodness, what is this man doing? He's just running amok. So Judge Arun Subramanian told them they could still talk to their clients, but were disallowed from advising them about things they should or shouldn't say or otherwise affect their testimony. Let's see. One lawyer said her client, who will testify as Jane, has had, in quote, very serious breakdown moments in preparation for this trial. Another lawyer, Michael Ferrara, said his client, who will testify under the name Mia, will tell about the worst things ever to happen to her. Those things, he said, she otherwise would have taken, quote, to her grave. She said she will want emotional support during her testimony. Whew. In quotes, candidly, her nerves are through the roof, he said. I don't know how to support her if we can't discuss the pain she's going to experience from having to tell the world about her worst experiences. Oh my God. And you know, you want to get justice for yourself, but at the same time, telling everybody about all this crap that was going on, I don't know. I can say that they're brave. I can say that they are really brave because, um, if it's anything like what Cassie has shared. I mean, just getting beat up, getting beat up has got to be really embarrassing. So I mean, and then you add some of that other stuff, and it's just like, this is just horrible. Okay, let's carry on. How much longer will Cassie, okay, so at 12:49, how much longer will Cassie's questioning by prosecutors last? And I just looked at the chat. Is it uncommon to use an avatar? I see this a lot on YouTube. I didn't know that was that uncommon. I do come on camera. I came on camera a bit during the day, but it's late where I am. Where are y'all? Hello. So Holy Mindset TV, if you're still here, hello. And then is it Kenneth Johnson? Hello to you as well. And then Stephen Zellen Sr., hello to you. You're in Dayton, Ohio. Okay. What time is it in Dayton? For me, it is 11:22. And I dare not hit this camera. 12:22. See what I mean? Okay. Alrighty. So I'm at 12:41 p.m. on this list. So we were talking about how nervous the other people who are going to testify are. And they talked about it to the judge during the break. So how much longer will Cassie's questioning by prosecutors last? So she ended her testimony today. Then Tenny Garagos, a lawyer for Combs, told Judge Arun Subramanian the prosecution's questioning of Cassie had, quote, gone differently than we expected. She didn't elaborate, except to say the defense will have to adjust their defense strategy as a result. Previously, the defense had indicated it plans to show the actual interactions were consensual. behavior between adults who engaged in the swingers lifestyle. Throughout her testimony, Cassie has insisted she never wanted to have those sexual experiences with other people, but did it to please the man she loved and out of fear of him. So then at 12:59, Cassie said she told Combs, "You treat me like Ike." And I went over that yesterday. Cassie testified in the morning session, I guess it was just early, that she complained to Combs once about the actual things he made her do and the abuse that came with it by telling him, "You treat me like Ike." The comment was a reference to Ike Turner, who was described in singer Tina Turner's autobiography and a film adapted off of it as an ABUSEIVE lover. Okay, we all know who Ike Turner is, right? At 1:03 p.m., prosecutor won't present videos during Cassie questioning. Okay, at 1:10 p.m., jurors return after break. At 1:21 p.m., jury is shown images from ex-party videos. Let's see how that went. Prosecutors showed 5 still images from the videos recovered from electronic devices that Cassie provided to investigators. One juror's eye widened at one juror's eye widened as the first image of Cassie and a male ex-worker she identified as Jules appeared on a screen in front of him. Another juror shook his head from side to side as the image was shown. As the presentation continued, another male juror pressed his hand and pen against his face as he studied the image intently. One woman on the panel pursed her lips. Many took notes as Cassie described what was happening in the images. She said they showed her at various stages of the encounters. Man, I wonder what were they thinking. Let's see. 1:29 p.m. So feed of the images restricted to the jury and the witness stand. The images were shown only on monitors in the jury box and witness stand. The feed was cut to the public gallery and overflow rooms because of their sensitive nature. Prosecutors provided binders with printed copies to the judge and defense counsel. At one point, Combs asked his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, for the binder. No, he didn't. I guess he can see it. He's the one on trial. Combs discreetly thumbed through the images, keeping them out of view of the public in the gallery behind him. After a few moments, Combs closed the book and handed it back to Agnifilo. 2:19 p.m. Prosecutor elicits testimony on notable violin events. And so a defense complaint that testimony about violin, that's VIOLENCE, was not specific enough, prompted a prosecutor to elicit from Cassie a history of notable events of that behavior she said she suffered at the hands of Combs. The first, she testified, came early in their relationship in 2007. Cassie said she was at a dinner with Sean and friends when she spotted Combs flirting with somebody. She said she shrugged her shoulders when somebody else who saw it looked at her. But then She said Combs attacked her in a car after they left the venue. He, in quotes, he knocked me around and was just hitting me, she said. Cassie testified that she fell to the floor of the car after Combs hit her on the side of the head. In quotes, I was just shocked, she said. In quotes, I didn't necessarily understand what happened and why he was so angry. She said she went home and hid out after that. My goodness. Cassie testified at 2:37 p.m. Cassie testifies she hid extent of violin from loved ones. So I guess we'll go through it. She said that when she went home for Christmas in 2011 with bruises from an altercation with the hip hop mogul, she lied to her mother. It was the first time she lied and told her mother it was the first time he'd hit her. In quotes, I couldn't hurt her like that, Cassie testified. And, in quotes, and it was terrifying. It's not normal, constantly being bruised up by the person you love, who says they love you. Jurors saw photos showing a large, dark bruise on Cassie's lower back and other bruises on her shoulder and thigh that she said she sustained in an altercation. 2:40. Cassie says Combs lunged at her with a corkscrew. Prior to the Christmas trip home, Cassie said Combs had lunged at her with a corkscrew and kicked her in the back. Oh, my goodness. When he learned that she had started dating rapper Kid Cudi during a low point in her relationship with Combs. The photos shown to jurors were taken at her family home in Connecticut after she flew across country from Los Angeles. Sean, is that Triner? Hello, thanks for stopping in. Yo Tango, well, I'm sorry, no hablo in Espanol. But thanks for stopping in. Okay, let's see. 2:46 p.m. Cassie recounts more violent incidents. Cassie testified that she saw Combs bring one of her friends back over the railing of a balcony at her Los Angeles apartment before he threw her on the patio furniture. On another occasion, she said she saw him hit a different friend who she had been close to for 17 years in the head with a hammer. Oh my gosh. I heard that earlier today. I thought they were saying with a wooden hanger. This says a hammer. Okay. And then she said, in quote, it just ended our friendship, Cassie said. She hasn't spoke to her since. Well, I guess not. I guess not. Especially if you're still with him. Now, if this whole big thing breaks out and there's this big scuffle between my friend and her boyfriend, and some kind of way I end up getting hit in the head with something like a hammer, and you just still stay with him. No, it's no need for me to. I mean, we don't have anything to talk about. We don't have not one more thing to talk about. Okay, let me carry on. At 2:55 p.m. Blacking out and sleepwalking. Cassie said she was experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder before ending her relationship with Combs in 2018. She said she was blacking out and sleepwalking. In my mind, my body was telling me I just needed to chill out, Cassie testified. Um, 313, prosecution concludes direct questioning of Cassie. The direct examination of Cassie is over. 316, Cassie describes Combs' assault. Under direct questioning, Cassie told jurors that Combs forced his way into her Los Angeles apartment and R-worded her in 2018 after she told him she was ending their relationship. Cassie said she had met Combs in Malibu for dinner in hopes of gaining closure after a decade with him. After dinner, she said Combs went to her home and ignored her pleas to leave. Cassie said she saw Combs on a subsequent occasion and had a consensual encounter with him, explaining, in quotes, "We'd been together for over 10 years. You just don't turn feelings off. Like, I didn't hate him." Okay, Cassie. 317, court in brief recess. And 322, court will adjourn for the day. The defense's cross-examination of Cassie, won't happen Wednesday. The jury is being told they're going home. Okay. So that was at 322. 323. I guess this didn't necessarily happen at 323, but they're reporting it at this time. So when a prosecutor asked Cassie how many freak-offs she participated in, she said, "Impossible to know, hundreds," or "impossible to know, hundreds." Asked if she'd been involved in any since ending their relationship with Combs in 2018, the witness said no. 330. Cassie said she settled her 2023 lawsuit against Combs for $20 million. Cassie testified that she settled her 2023 lawsuit against Combs for $20 million. The lawsuit, filed in November 2023, was resolved the next day. Cassie sued Combs, alleging years of R-word and abuse. Asked why she was testifying at Combs' criminal trial, she said, in quotes, "I can't carry this anymore. I can't carry the shame. I can't carry the guilt." And 330, 339, rehab and trauma therapy. Cassie testified that her life reached a climactic moment in early 2023 when she's had horrible flashbacks as she was shooting a music video. She said she later told her husband at home, in quotes, "You can do this without me. You don't need me here anymore." She said she couldn't take the pain anymore and, quote, "tried to walk out the front door into traffic, and my husband would not let me." Weeks later, she was undergoing rehab and trauma therapy. 410, defense attorney says infidelity will highlight cross-examination. They need to find him a they need to find him a deal, because as this thing goes on and on and on, I mean, these got to be the best lawyers in the world, because at this point, her testimony, just her. I mean, I heard the what was it? I heard the one was I think he was an escort, and then there was an officer. So that's just testimony. When they start to, lay out like more and more evidence, she's already got some text messages from other people kind of proving up some of these charges, like the ex trafficking, the going across state lines and paying people to do stuff like that. What else have they kind of proven up? But I mean, that it's already been, a few things have already been proven up a little bit. So just imagine when they get into more, more and more um, bank statements and however the money was moving so that they could pay these people. And um, it's just a lot that I feel like it's only going to get in 2 months, in 2 months time, this stuff is only going to get proven up more and more and more. Now, the other side, of course, they can shoot it down and create doubt and stuff like that, but it's already a lot that's been said, um, that's part of his charges, and all they have to do really is provide a little bit more documentation, and you can pretty much prove up the trafficking already. And it's only day 3. I know on day 1 and 2, some people were saying they didn't feel convinced, but at this point, from everything that was being said today, you got the text messages where we didn't necessarily see them right here, but some of the text messages that they were able to show where you could say that was part of his organization, where he had other people that would do certain things to kind of keep this woman boxed in, and she'd try to leave and they'd go get her and bring her back, and she'd have all these bruises and they would take her somewhere and hide her and bring her back when she was presentable again. And none of these things, she if she wanted to leave, she wanted to leave. She didn't want to be brought back. She didn't want somebody to come find her and pull her back in. There were times when she was actually trying to go somewhere, but either somebody would go get her and bring her back, or he would say something or do something very threatening, and then she would feel like, well, I can't go anywhere because he did this thing here. Imagine what he would do if I actually go somewhere. So, and there's already proof of these things playing out. So I guess on yesterday, it seemed like, oh, well, she was kind of going back and forth. She didn't want to be there. She wanted to be there. But if somebody wants to leave and you come drag them back and you won't let them leave, at that point, you are holding somebody against their will. And at one time they want to do something and the next time they don't want to do it. Well, at that point, you're forcing them to, into this activity. You are, you are trafficking them. You are holding them against their will. These things are a crime. So anyway, let's see this is pretty much the end of the day. Let's see. Defense attorney says infidelity will highlight the cross-examination. So, did I read this? Let's see. So in quotes, we have worn our defense on our sleeves since the first bail hearing. Agnifilo said, everybody knows we are going to bring up infidelity and text messages of infidelity. He noted that both sides in their opening statements referred to the volatile nature of the nearly 11-year relationship between Cassie and Combs. So, I mean, they have some good attorneys, so I'm sure they're gonna, they're gonna do all they can. Not that it's gonna be, that they don't have a case, because good attorneys, I mean, that's what you pay them to do is make a case. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with after, everything that the government side has brought. All right, so the next one at 4:33 is just of the family of Diddy's family leaving the courthouse. So that is pretty much it. So of course, that's not a full transcript. That was just a recap and highlights. So there's definitely transcripts of everything that was said during court, which I do not have. But I'm happy to bring you these recaps to just stay up on what's going on and not miss, whole chunks. Let's see. Oh, I didn't read this. This is kind of interesting. So, of the men on the jury, there's an investment analyst. He's 31. There's a social worker, 39. I'm surprised they put a social worker in there. There's a communications clerk at a prison system facility that's 41. There's a scientist that's 51. A retired worker in finance that's 68. A retired telecommunications company field technician that's also 68. Lots of seniors here. There's a logistics analyst for a bank that's 67. A massage therapist and actor that's 69. So all of those are men. And then there's 4 women, a deli clerk that's 30, nursing home dietary aide that's 42. Wow, that's a stark difference. So on the men, they had all these like um really smart, educated people, except for maybe the communications clerk at the prison system, but everybody else looks very accomplished. And then with the women, there's a deli clerk, a nursing home dietary aide, a PA. That's educated. You do have to have an education to be a physician assistant, and a former treatment coordinator at a charity for blind people. That's 74. Those are the women. Okay. Well, I would say that, I don't know. I don't know. That could go either way because, it's heavy on the men. So they could easily be more empathetic to Diddy. But then just first thoughts, Cassie is very attractive. So that could kind of, I don't know, go the other way and kind of make them more empathetic toward her just because of, her beauty. So, and then the 4 women, I don't know. I don't know what to say about them. All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for stopping by to get this trial recap for day 3. I'll be in the I'll definitely be looking out for all the updates tomorrow. I'll be coming in with some live updates throughout the day tomorrow and throughout the day Friday, and coming back at night with these nightly recaps. So anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you. On your way out, if you will, tap the like. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I will see you on the next one if you come back. All right. Bye bye.